this is Danny Ceballos with your Best Boss Take 5. So hopefully got a chance to check out my previous Take 5. Make sure, if you didn't, make sure you take a look at it. What I wanted to do was to share with you some really good thinking and structure for appreciating how you and your people experience change. So, I've just been doing a lot of work with clients recently around managing change, both for themselves when I'm doing one-to-one coaching with folks, but also working with teams and organizations that have been experiencing change and are experiencing change. And as I said in the last Take 5, isn't that a given for all of us, especially for those of you that are in executive leadership positions, thinking about for yourself, for your team, and for your organization, how to have an understanding and appreciation for how change operates can really normalize the change experience that happens for us, whether it's a staffing change, a culture change, a product change, a service change, to normalize and to have some expectation for what we will experience can be really heartening and invigorating, because we're able to understand and weather and predict and start to scaffold around that change. So the last time we talked, when I talked to you in the last Best Boss Take 5, it was how we experience positive change, good news, great things that are happening. So on the flip side, of course, is how we experience change when it's not so good, when it's a negative change, when it's not something that's desirable. So you remember that in the first graphic, we talked about how we experience something very interesting with positive change, where we go through this honeymoon stage and then start to realize that things are not great. And we have a choice of whether to check out or not. And then if we lean into it and experience it, that we are more than likely able to weather that change and come back to a place of informed optimism. So negative change works more or less kind of the same way. So I'm going to do a quick screen share here and show you what I mean. So I think what's very interesting too about here, where is it? Hold on one second here. All right, so what you see here is how we experience negative change. And you may recognize some of the terms here, denial, depression, integration. This all kind of maps to, if you remember Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and her work around how we experience grief, death, and dying. So, our model has become a lot more sophisticated over the years, but it's essentially the same in a lot of ways. So essentially what you can expect over the course of time is when people are experiencing negative change, they'll of course go through some shock, denial, maybe taking on unproductive behaviors and attitude. As time goes on, unfortunately, what happens is we sink into what we call essentially the valley of despair. And this is where you see this big dip in morale or optimism, where we really go into a depression, a mini depression stage. So we can expect this. This is the real important thing when we're talking about how we experience negative change, is to expect that even though things feel really bad at the beginning, they get worse. That's the bad news, but we can expect that. We can start to scaffold around that. Maybe scaffold, maybe organization-wide, you are scheduling self-care opportunities, you are scheduling more check-ins with supervisors and managers. But we know that if we wait through this thing, that by and large, most folks come out of what we call, again, the valley of despair or the J curve, and move into experimentation, making decisions about how to best cope and move forward with this. When I realized my timer stopped here, so let's just cancel that. But that, and I promise we'll still stay under the Take 5, but eventually moving into integration. So an integration meaning I integrate the reality with my expectations. I am able to move forward. So again, we start off here, not in a great place. Morale goes up a little bit because we start going into denial and being disillusioned. But again, we drop pretty suddenly and pretty precariously into this valley of despair. But over time, giving a little bit of time and continue to lean into this, you can be optimistic. You can know that most of your folks will come out of this in a way that involves experimenting, making some choices, and finally integrating where our morale is back up to where we need it to be. All right, so I hope that was useful. Again, think about it, contrast this with the other model, and think about both of these change models the next times that you experience change for yourself or for your people, and present this model. Think it through. Decide what you are going to do to help move us through move yourself through or move us all through these different stages. And if I can help you with that, would love to work with you on that. So just let me know. All right, this is Danny Ceballos with your Best Boss Take 5. We'll see you next time. Thanks.